When I was building out my indoor hydroponic garden, I knew I wanted an Aerogarden in there somewhere. When I got my Aerogarden, there were a few things that I knew I needed to change. We'll call them hacks, because I basically took the manufacturer's recommendation on 2 of these 3 things and just threw it out the window, doing things my way, optimizing it, getting faster and better growth. I'm gonna share those things with you in this video. The first thing I noticed when I unboxed my Aerogarden and set it up was how bright it is. I was gonna set this up on my kitchen counter and it's just way too bright to have set up in there. It kind of like takes over any lighting that I had in my kitchen. So what I did when I put it in my garden, in order to keep the light from taking over the entire garden, was I took one of these $10 crates that I got from Walmart and I painted it black on the inside and outside. Then I flipped it long ways, or portrait mode, if you will, and the small Aerogarden fit perfectly inside. And with the light extended all the way, it is just an absolutely perfect fit. So the slats on the side keep a lot of that light from spilling out all over the rest of my garden and keep things more contained to this little area. And you can also see from right behind me here, I have a oil diffuser on top of that, which is diffusing peppermint oil, maybe a little bit redundant because I am growing peppermint in this garden, but that keeps the bugs away too. So that's not really a hack, that's just a cool little cage for your Aerogarden. But what I did to hack my Aerogarden and get plants in my garden immediately was, instead of using this to grow plants from seeds, I used this as a cloner. I went to my local nursery and I picked out a few of the best varieties that I could, that I really wanted to have in an herb garden. Got a couple different basils, got peppermint and oregano. So instead of planting from seeds, I'm actually going to remove the whole seed part from these little proprietary net cups and just use the net cup to hold my clone in. And frankly, we don't even really need this net cup to hold the clone in, but it does help to kind of fill out the hole. So back to the cuttings. We're gonna take our herbs that we just bought and we'll cut them close to the bottom and right by a node. So a node is where 2 leaves are coming out from the stem. So if we cut right below a node at about 45-degree angle, then we're gonna remove those 2 leaves. And depending on the size of the clone we got, we can remove more foliage as we move up too. Then once we have our cutting ready, all we're gonna do is set it right inside the net cup, put it right inside the Aerogarden, and move on to the next one. So I'm gonna do this for all of my herbs and place them gently into the Aerogarden, where I have a really nice, gentle, low EC nutrient solution mixed up. This gets plants into my garden right now. If you don't live somewhere with a high humidity like I do here in Hawaii, then you might need to cover your clones with something just to keep the humidity high in there while they grow their new root system. Otherwise, just turn your garden on and let it go. This is about 5 days later. You can see all these stems have grown beautiful sets of roots. I'm so excited to see that all of these clones took. These are all brand new plants now that are in my garden. The really cool thing with cloning is you make an exact replica of the plant that you took the cutting from. So if you picked an herb that you really like the flavor profile of, then you get to keep that herb in your garden and immediately have it in your Aerogarden. I really love growing from cuttings and gardens like this because it does get your garden growing immediately, and you get to see green in your Aerogarden day 1. Rather than having to wait like a month before things are about this size. A couple things to note though about moving clones into your house is make sure you inspect them thoroughly for any bugs or worms. You don't want to accidentally bring those into your house and introduce them into your Aerogarden. Now finally, the last hack that I recommend doing if we're growing just vegetative plants, meaning just plants that we're going to eat the leaf from. It's the best way to say it. So any herbs or leafy greens, leave the light on always. So when this light turns off, I just go back over to it and turn it right back on. I leave this light on 24 hours a day because these plants are constantly in a vegetative stage. Until your plants get much larger, you're really going to be just fine leaving them on a 24-hour light cycle. In fact, they'll thrive and they'll grow even bigger and more bushy if you do leave them on a 24-hour light cycle for, I'd say, the first month to month and a half. At which point you can decide whether or not you want to put them on the manufacturer's recommended light cycle, or you can just leave them on a 24-hour light cycle if they're doing well. So I hope this was helpful. I look forward to hearing about it in the comments down below. Don't forget to check out all those free guides over at humblegrowthhydroponics.com. And if you want to grow out your entire house like I've done, check out the School of Hydroponics. All right, well, until the next video, let's grow together.